Hey y'all, sorry, my room is a little bit of a mess. I just came back from San Diego with my partner's family where I met them, and it was pretty fun. So today I have a little story for you. It's about how when I moved with my kitty, with my little cat from Mumbai to LA back in 2023, and how that whole thing even started, how it even happened, why I moved. And if you're looking for the exact process of traveling with a cat, I will link that video below just in case if you want to check that out. They gave a step-by-step process of everything that needs to be done, and I followed it exactly. That being said, if you're looking for that technical information, the link is down below. If not, if you're here for the story and for the experience of me flying here with my cat from Mumbai to LA for 25 hours, here we go. Picture this. It's 3 a.m. at Mumbai International Airport. I've got 4 bags with me, my whole life packed up into 4 bags. It was very hard to just fit it into 4. My passport in one hand and my cat in another hand in a tiny carrier. Mia had already started meowing her protests. Around me, my family, my cousins, my friends, they'd all driven hours just to see me off, and I couldn't even focus on them. I was so scattered, so anxious about what was about to happen next. My mind was spinning. What if Mia doesn't make it through security? What if she runs away? What if I'm making the biggest mistake of my life? I'd never flown with a cat before. And here's the thing, nobody tells you. When you go through security with a cat, you have to take their harness off, everything off. So you have to just hold them and walk through security, and it's very scary because you know how squiggly cats are and they love to run away. I was like, okay, there's gonna be a little wild animal running on this airport, and it's not gonna be my fault. It's because you made me take off the harness too. But you know what? So there I was holding Mia in my bare arms with no leash, no harness, no safety net, just me and her. And I remember Krishna Mantra was playing constantly in my head on repeat, like a lifeline. I was praying that she wouldn't just bolt and run away. I wouldn't drop her. I was like praying that the leap of faith that I'm taking wasn't going to end in a disaster before we even got on the plane. By some miracle, we made it through, back into the carrier, first hurdle done. And that's when it hit me. I was really doing this, moving to LA alone, no family, no friends, just me, my cat, and a dream I didn't even fully understand yet. But let me rewind for a second, because this story doesn't start at Mumbai Airport. It starts a year earlier, in a moment of heartbreak. A year before this flight, I had applied to a school in Toronto. I wanted it so badly. I had this whole vision in my head, new country, new life. I would go to Toronto to study music business, finally making my dreams happen. And then I got rejected from that school. Shocking for me at that time, because as an Asian kid, you know we take this shit to heart. And I was like, I've never been rejected by any school. Well, that's not true. But I was like, why is this happening? I cried. I didn't understand. I kept asking God, why are you shutting this door? I thought this was the plan. I thought you wanted this for me. And I hurt so bad in that moment. I did not understand what was going on and why this rejection was happening. But God always has a plan. There's always a bigger plan. There's always a master plan. There's always something so much better and bigger that's coming for you that we are not able to see just yet. And that's what happened. Have you ever had that moment where something you wanted so desperately just slips through your fingers and you can't make sense of it? You're kicking and screaming like a cat, being dragged to the vet, not knowing that the medicine is actually for you. That was me. I was the cat. And then, fast forward a year, one of my music producer clients, someone I had been working with on songwriting, casually mentioned to me, UCLA has the same music business program that you want to go for. And I was like, okay, what? I didn't even know that. But then I applied, I got in smoothly, like easily. Like the universe just opened a door I didn't even know existed. Like it was just meant to happen. I was like, okay, maybe LA it is, not Toronto. So looking back now, Toronto would have been wrong for me. The weather alone, I'm from Mumbai, so Toronto is like so cold, I've heard, because my cousin lives there, and I know it's very like snowy as shit. So I feel like LA weather is really good for me. It's warm throughout the year. It rains very little though. I wish it rained a little bit more because I miss those Mumbai rains. But I love this weather, the networking, the opportunities, the energy of the city. It was divine alignment. But in that moment of rejection, I had no idea. All I felt was pain. So I did the scary thing. I booked the ticket. I packed my entire life into 4 bags. I did all the paperwork for me, for Mia, and I got on that plane, Mumbai to Paris, CDG, Paris to LAX, 25 hours total. And did I mention my period just started before boarding that flight? So I was already in so much pain, already exhausted, and we hadn't even taken off yet. The Air France staff was really nice. They were angels. They were so kind to me and Mia, but when we landed in Paris for our layover, that's when things got interesting. There was no pet relief area that I could find. I tried to look for it a lot. I also asked people. The reason I chose CDG as a layover was because I knew that they have pet relief areas that I looked up online, but when I was there, not even the people working there could help me with where the pet relief areas were. So finally, I managed to find a little smoking room. Yeah, and Mia has had lung problems, but I had no other option but to take her in that little smoking room because I needed an enclosed space so that she wouldn't run away. So I took her there. I set up her portable litter box on the floor. She peed a little bit, and thank God, but then she refused to eat. She just stared at her food like she would not even look at it. Like she would look at it like absolutely not. Like I'm not gonna eat that. And then people kept coming in and out to smoke, and they'd see me on the floor with her and the food, and they would try to help strangers from all over the world trying to help Miss Mia with her food. It was almost funny, if not so stressful in that moment. God knows I was so stressed out. And then this one man, this angel of a man, I know, he came, he knelt down, took some of her dry food in his hands, and she finally ate from his hands. I was like, thank God, like the tiny act of kindness from a stranger in a Paris airport smoking room is something I'll never forget. And then we made it to the gate, we boarded the second flight, and that's when things got really hard. The second flight was brutal. I was in so much pain from my period. Mia wouldn't stop crying in her carrier. I mean, she was like wailing every few minutes. Just these heartbreaking meows that made everyone around us uncomfortable. And the couple sitting next to me, the husband kept trying to flirt with me like, sir, I'm in pain. My cat is crying. I haven't slept in over 24 hours and you think this is the time? And his wife is giving me like the dirty look, like it's my fault that her husband can't keep it in his pants. Like, ma'am, please, sir, I don't want to do anything with this. Leave me alone. I'm here with a child. Well, at one point, I asked the flight attendant for more red wine, and just to take the edge off, from all this going on around me, and like all my periods, and I was in so much pain. And they cut me off. They cut me off with red wine, and then they literally said no, and it was like I'm trapped here. Oh, but I kept that Krishna mantra going in my head, and over, it was the only thing that was keeping me sane. Like 30 hours, no sleep, just pain, crying cat, uncomfortable strangers, and this tiny flickering voice inside me whispering, You're doing the right thing. Keep going. You're almost there. Like, girl. And then we landed. LAX. Los Angeles, California, baby. I was so tired. I could barely see straight. But when we got to customs, something miraculous happened. They let me cut the line. They asked, is anyone here with a child? And I was like, I raised my hand. I was like, hey, I have a cat? Does that count? And they were like, okay, yeah, come here. So they let me cut the line, which was great because I was really tired at that point. And they let me go ahead, which was really sweet. And nobody asked me for Mia's documentation, which was, again, a beautiful sign from just the universe that this is just meant to happen. Even though I had all the documentation that I just mentioned in the beginning that I'll share the link for, but an angel at the airport helped us get on the bus with all the luggage because it was like 4 bags and me. It was really hard for me to like carry all of that around, but he really was helpful. And then we got on. I took an Uber to my Airbnb in Beverly Hills, and I remember I could not get the code. I don't know. I hate that about Airbnbs. Something about it. I never get the code something right. And then I was there outside trying to get in. The door wouldn't open up, and I was so tired with so much luggage and a cat and trying to get inside, and there was not a single person in Beverly Hills in that area. Why is there not a single human being in that area? Like, what? And it was daytime. It was not even like nighttime. I landed there at I think like 4 or 5 p.m. and there was nobody there. But then finally somebody came. Goddess came in the form of somebody and opened the door. I walked in. I set Mia's carrier down. I put my luggage down and I just cried. Hard, ugly crying. I felt so alone, so small. I didn't know anyone in this city. I didn't know how I was gonna find an apartment. I didn't know if I'd made the right choice. I immediately wanted to dip and go back, and I was like, there's no way I can do the 25-hour flight again. Are you kidding me? But all I wanted to do was go home. I went to bed. I slept for 22 hours straight. I was so jet lagged and tired. And then I woke up the next day at like 11 p.m. and I will continue this story in part 2 for what happens when I woke up. You can find part 2 somewhere on the screen. I have to break it apart just because it is a very long story and I just got through the half of it. I'm gonna go eat some food. All right, bye-bye.